the winners. But ready to go right now is Gokula Krishnan Subramaniam, aka Gokula, and the name of his presentation is Versal Trusted Aid. So this is a very interesting one. Gokula, are you ready, my friend?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you look ready to go. So good luck, all the best. Your time begins now.
Hi, my name is Gokula, part of Team Verkul, group number 41, and today we're going to talk about trusted giving, aid disbursement for government agencies as part of Myhackathon 2. Let's start a little bit with setting the scene. More than 6 million people in Malaysia depend on some form of aid, either government or others. And last year, about more than 10 billion was dispersed, and this is expected double or triple this year, thanks to the pandemic. Now, the biggest challenge and concerns around dispersing taxpayer money for aid, it really is related to the impact, right? And transparency first on who's receiving what and whether it's properly consumed. And second thing is leakage. And this is something that Verkul intends to address. Now, Verkul simplifies disbursement of aid benefits in a transparent, trusted, and secure manner. How does it work? An agency or provider uses the Verkul platform to provide digital aid approvals tied to a recipient ID or MyCard with spending rules on what they can spend on. The recipient heads to the store, uses the card to tap, and the merchant app does a photo ID. The recipient spends the aid benefit or picks up what has been allocated to them, and the provider receives real-time notification and insights on what has been picked up, and money flows directly from the provider to the store only for the benefits that has been picked up, not for everything. Now, underpinning our whole proposition today is our control and visibility engine. It's one of the kind that we've designed in Malaysia that allows anyone to control how their money is being used and spent by a third-party recipient. It's built to be child-safe, secure, and encrypted. Now, we also strongly focus on cutting the leakage. So without the intermediaries and with the use of a digital framework, we can make sure that RM1 given is also RM1 received. We support multiple benefits type, not just cash, but one can also provide non-cash benefits. So it could be monthly groceries, weekly vegetables, daily meal rations, or even fertilizer or some other subsidies. We can support any of these types of benefits. Now, recipient does not need to have a smartphone or a bank account in our solution. They can use their MyCard or any other agency-related cards. We can use existing retail distribution arms to distribute aid because we operate under the e-money laws and we can acquire merchants. Finally, we take security and compliance very seriously, and when it comes to KYC and banking grade security. And we're also integrated to the MIMOS blockchain for independent proof of delivery. Now, validation is everything. The tech is not just on paper. It has been validated in several programs, one of which I've highlighted here. 20 women from a disadvantaged community received monthly groceries up to 100 ringgit paid for by independent providers. But with a catch that, these women only got their monthly grocery benefits if the kids attended free tuition. Because let's face it, to get out of poverty, we need kids to be motivated in studies. Now, we won an award, one of 8 in Asia in the UNCDF 2019 FinLab Challenge and represented Malaysia in the last UN General Assembly SDG side event. Though we are a young startup, we have some pretty good accolades with the like of UNCDF, Bank Negara, and Financials, and also some good partners like MDOS, MDEC, and MIMOS backing us up, and also Cradle TGP. We have a business model, it's two-sided. We take a fee from the stores on all aid benefits, and we also charge a subscription fee per account from the agency. Now, today I'm leading the execution team for Myhackathon. I've spent over 20 years in the corporate world in multiple countries worldwide before coming back in 2012 under Talent Corp and quitting corporate life in 2019 to focus on my passion in financial inclusivity. Sarah and Alia are critical members of my hackathon team here, and they're focused on key aspects of the execution, which is product and operations. Behind the three of us, of course, is a small and nimble team with over 80 man-years experience in relevant areas of what we do. Now, as part of the pilot program, we have roped in MIMOS as one of our partners, and we also roped in Bank Negara Malaysia volunteers team to execute CAPA Phase 2 program, where they would use the same technology to disperse financial aid. Now, the pilot program itself is a bit busy slide. It has 4 key objectives, which is maximizing automation,
1 minute to go,
leakage, securing compliance, and simplifying operation. We are ready to go as long as once we have the Myhackathon 1 winners identified, we can work together with them, starting from identification of bona fide recipients and exiting the pilot program with commercialization SOPs to make sure what we build is something scalable. Now, I end this presentation with 4 key points, ladies and gentlemen, on what we do. Our data-driven and visibility control engine allows anyone to control any types of benefits given from one party to another. Our offering is very B40 friendly and child friendly. We take safety and security very seriously, and our offering is very flexible from a service point of view and commercial models point of view. Either we manage the service or we let the agency manage the service on themselves. Now with that, I'm open to questions, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Okay, smooth presentation, Gokula. Well done. So I'm going to, since you love finance so much, I'm going to get an investment person to ask you a few investment questions or non-investment questions. Juliana, one or two questions from your side, please.
Yeah, hi Gokula.
Hi, Juliana.
Just to check, so will the recipient have access to the information as well? What have been used and all that? Yeah. So that's the first. I have two questions.
Okay.
The second question is, do you also provide analytics to the benefit provider? Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So the first question, yes, the recipient has views of what balance they have, and every time they tap, they can see what are the entitlements they have remaining from their benefits, so they know how and what they can use it. And if you want to tie benefits as a notification every time they spend via SMS, that's also possible. There's no limits on that. Analytics is the core of what we do. And because we built this to be child safe, and this technology is being used in many schools right now for cashless schools. And one of the key aspects is that parents know exactly that you bought nasi lemak yesterday when I told you not to eat nasi lemak, right? So the same way for the aid benefit, you get extensive aid on when they went, to which shop they went, what they picked up, and at what price. Hope that solves. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Thanks, Juliana. Azlin, you can ask one or two questions. We have time.
Hi. Great presentation. I think it's very exciting. Can you hear me?
Yes, okay, yes. We can hear you.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay, great presentation. I think it's interesting what you have planned. I'm actually asking a question on behalf of another judge. He asked us to ask what are the key difference that what you have done versus of this project, what you've done before, like the Kappa project, and what is your project plan deliverables? And I also would like to know about your Kappa phase 2. What do you plan to enhance?
Okay, so basically Kappa program was a validation that these control mechanism works in aid distribution. And second thing is, because Workl is very passionate about children, they also wanted to experiment the idea of tying parents' aid benefits to children staying in school. I think this is very critical and often forgotten, right? So we did that in a smaller community. It worked, so we know what are the challenges. Right now, actually, for us, we are ready to roll. What we want to do is extend this to a bigger program, because unless we do this in a bigger program, we don't understand what's the challenges in similar scenarios. So that's the difference. But in the meantime, look, when it comes to a similar setup being used in schools, we have over 1,000 children using Workl today in the parental control aspect of it. And we've learned quite a bit and tweaked platforms quite a lot. So as long as these are changes that sit within compliance and regulatory framework that BNM allows us to do, I mean, we just want more challenges so that we can plug more loops, because as you saw our pilot program, right? It's more of the iteration that I'm focused on in this program in a large scale deployment or larger scale deployment. So BNM phase 2 with Kappa program, it's about funding meals for poor kids that attend the class because these kids don't have proper meals at home or even in school. There are challenges on RMT, but that's a different discussion. So if they come, they tap their card, someone pays for the meal. They attend their tuition, and they do that for 15 days or 16 days in a month. Then the mom gets X amount of groceries or vegetable benefits and so on. It's just an extension of what we did in phase 1, but it's still a fairly smaller community, about 20 maximum. We'll go up to 40. Now what we are looking is, okay, why not we do this for 100, 1,000, 500, these kind of scenarios. That's what we're looking forward to as part of the hackathon.
Who are you working with the Kappa project?
So we work with an NGO who validates the ground reality of who needs what help. So in phase 1, these women that the NGOs brought to us, they come from very severely deprived backgrounds. Their husbands, they either have abusive backgrounds, drug abuse at home, alcohol abuse at home, and so on. So for us, working with government agencies is great for a blanket level, national level, but if you want to work with really the akar umbi, right? the NGOs actually know who needs help. And so the idea of us is not to replace the NGOs, because we still need the NGOs to validate the reality on the ground. So we work with an NGO called MMI Care in the KAPA program. They're 20 years, run by women, very focused on women and children causes. So they actually go work with the people on the ground to get all these hardcore poor families that need help. And we sort of enable this. So the whole idea of what we do is this, right? You guys have heard of Myhackathon, correct? And what they
Sorry,
do.
Gokula, we have to leave it right there. Very passionate explanation, and you answered the questions relatively quite well. But yes, we have to move on. So good job. Now,
Thank you.
Just relax a little bit and have a good lunch,
Sure.
and then we'll